Now that we have the footprint, let's add some wall thickness. Go ahead and zoom in on something that feels comfortable to you. You don't want to work on your drawing from too far away and, of course, too close because we're about to add to it. You don't want it to be off screen. Again, your zoom is something fun to practice, but you also have your pan tool, which is going to be this icon here. It moves your drawing from side to side, up and down. You can also activate this using your center scroll wheel of your mouse. That's going to, if you depress it, if you hold that center scroll wheel of your mouse down, that's going to create the orbit tool. Click and drag to orbit, and then add the shift key on your keyboard, and that's going to give you the pan tool. So getting your SketchUp driver's license may take a while, but the three main views are going to be the zoom. So you can zoom in and out, and anywhere your cursor is, that's where your zoom is going to be. Zooming in, rolling that center scroll wheel forward or backwards to zoom out. Then clicking and holding that center scroll wheel down to create the orbit, and then add your shift key, and that's the pan. It's going to take some practice, but it will become second nature the more you use it. So again, those two icons are up here. But really that center scroll wheel, holding that down to orbit and then adding the shift key to it is going to be the fastest. All right, so let's go back to top view, camera, standard view's top. And if you need to pan, you can still use that center scroll wheel, add the shift key. But for now, zooming in or out is just fine. All right, I'll end that tangent and we're going to add some offset to the walls. So that's going to be this icon here, or the letter F for offset. You can see as I hover over this face here, it becomes highlighted. So I can now know that that's the face that I'm about to offset. If there were other faces in this drawing, you don't have to do this, but there are other faces you can see as I hover over each of them. That's letting me know which face I'm about to offset. So an offset just creates the same shape on the inside or the outside. So if I click and release and then move my cursor, this is the inside, and then I move my cursor out and it creates the offset outside of it. So I'm going to get rid of these and we're going to offset it 4.5 inches. So letter F, click release, and then move our cursor outwards. So we're adding to the shape because we took our dimensions from the interior. So move outwards and then type 4.5, enter. This is what we should end up with. If you're ending up with something like this, you may want to use that handy undo function, edit undo, command or control Z, and then start again. And this is one of those few functions that is a little bit easier on your trackpad. I usually recommend using a 3-button mouse, but your trackpad is going to be a little bit less finicky for the offset. So again, we're looking to do 4.5 inches, and you can check that with your tape measure tool. Look in the lower right-hand corner, 4.5. So click on one edge and then click on another, and there's our distance. Now, if you add a guideline like I have here, you want to get rid of it, you can go to Edit, Delete Guides. We're going to use our tape measure tool very soon to create some guidelines. All right, now that we have our offset, we actually have an exterior wall in this space. It's going to be where that slider door is to the left of the chair in our view. And so we're going to make that wall a little bit thicker. That one's going to be 6 inches. So I'd like us to zoom in on this exterior wall here. And we're going to select that edge and we're going to move it to the left. Let's see, it'll be 1.5 inches. So I'm going to pre-select it and then tap M for move, or this icon here. So with this edge pre-selected, that's going to only allow us to move that edge. So we can click on release here and then move our cursor to the left. And you can see that that red thread appears. And that just lets us know that we're nice and aligned with the red axis there. And if I move from it, this is what I'm creating. And the red line goes away, that red thread. So we really want to make sure we're snapped to red as we move this. If you're having a hard time getting it to stay snapped, you can tap the right arrow key to lock that in. The right arrow key on your keyboard allows us to lock to the red axis. All right, so now I'm going to type 1.5, enter. And that just adds 1.5 inches to what it was. So I can measure that distance from here to here using my tape measure tool. That's going to be 6 inches. To let go of this, if I don't want to set it down and create this, to let go of this guideline here, I can tap Escape. So again, if you're measuring something, you click on one edge here and then another edge, and you decide you don't want this guideline, tap the Escape key on your keyboard to let go of that. We've been using our undo function a bit, but the Escape key lets go of something mid-function. And so we also have an exterior wall over here. So let's practice that one more time. And in this case, maybe I don't want to do the math. Maybe I don't want to figure out 1.5 plus 4.5. Maybe I just want to see where it would be at the 6-inch mark. So I'm going to tap T for tape again, and then hover over this edge, click release, and move my cursor straight up. So this is what I should see. It's right aligned with the green axes there, and I'm getting a guideline. Guidelines are infinite, so they're really helpful all along our drawing, and they're not permanent. They're not edges, so they're just really helpful for reference. So again, I'm going to hover over this inside edge here, click release, and move upwards. I'm going to type 6, enter, and it's going to land at that 6-inch mark. So again, if I didn't want to do the math to see how much further I would need to go with this edge from here to here, I can just measure it up here. Now I'm going to hit my space bar, select tool, pre-select this edge here, and then move it straight up. So M for move, and then straight up that green. So if I want to lock it to the green, if you remember, right was red, so we can only go this way, but left arrow is our green. That locks something to the green axis there. Now I can click release to set that down, and we are now at 6 inches. So we're 6 inches on the exterior walls and 4.5 on our interior walls. I'm going to get rid of this guideline by going to Edit, Delete Guides. In the next lesson, we're going to add some window and door openings.